Welcome to Two Rivers. We're down here by the Hunter River.
And your dog's just jumped in.
The dog's name's Millie. Millie's a Labrador, and like all Labradors, absolutely loves the water. And even though it's pouring with rain, the dog's having a great time in the water.
A lot of water in the river today, by the look of things.
Yeah, the river's got a good flow in it today. It's even though it's been dry for so long, the river's been flowing quite well. It's all regulated from Glenbourne Dam, obviously, and there's a real consistent flow in it. I think there's a lot of people using water, and they're letting out water accordingly.
You've done a lot of work along the riverbanks here. Tell me about that.
The river's a huge part of our lives here in the vineyard. Not only do we rely on it, of course, for the life of the vineyard, we irrigate the whole property. We've got over 400 acres of vines here, so it's really important to us. But it's also a major part of our life in that we're on a vineyard. We've got a beautiful spot here, and we do a lot of promotions down here. We haven't got a cellar door, and so if we've got a bus group or a tour group coming through, we've got a lovely spot down here. We've cleaned up. We've planted hundreds of native trees down here, and we'll bring bus loads down here. We'll have a campfire, and if you get a nice day and the right ambience with the right group of people, you can't go wrong.
In terms of looking after the future of the river, is that essentially why you've gone for the natives along here?
Absolutely, yeah. The willows are a real problem here in the Hunter River, and even though they were a great quick fix solution back in the 50s when we had those devastating floods, they are really causing a lot of damage now, and we're just trying to work away at sections of the river here. We're gradually clearing the willows. We've had a lot of help from the Department of Land and Water in this, and we've also done a few land care field days out here as well. But we're aiming to regenerate the natives and really just bring back the health of the river.
I didn't realise the willows were planted after the 55 flood.
Yeah, a lot of the willows were. When the 55 flood, which was the worst flood this century, I believe, there was extensive land clearing before that, and there just wasn't enough of the native trees left to stabilise the riverbanks. It really did devastate a lot of the river, and the willows were a quick fix back then, and so they really did a good job. But little did we know back then that they were going to cause all these other problems. They're a deciduous tree. They drop tons and tons of leaves in the river every year. They're very prone to borers. They're very brittle, and the worst problem with willows is whenever a stick breaks off a willow tree and lodges itself in the river, a few weeks later you come back and there's a tree there. We quite often have fishermen out here, and they'll bring their fishing rods out and break off a forky stick to rest their rods in, and you might come back a few weeks later and there's a start of another tree. So it's a constant battle.
How healthy do you reckon the river is as we look at it streaming past us here at the moment? The rain landing in the river and causing small droplets in the flow of the river. How healthy is it, do you reckon?
Look, unfortunately, it's not very healthy. When we came here some 15 years ago, the river was in a much better state even then. It was very clear. You could see, up to 10 feet down to the bottom. There was big schools of mullet and catfish and perch, but now, unfortunately, the river seems to have clouded up. It doesn't clear up as often as it used to, which is a real problem for us. We're trying to pump this water through our drip system. We rely on the clean water and our filtration system, and unfortunately, European carp have come into the river, and that's really damaged the general ecology of the river. I think the willows, are reaching almost crisis point in some areas here, and we all have to work together to improve the health.
We're standing under an umbrella now, the rain falling down fairly well here. Is this what you've been needing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're very lucky here. We are on the Hunter River, and I believe it's one of the most secure water sources, if not the most secure water source in the state. And all the vineyards irrigated, but there's just nothing like natural rainfall. And for our whole district, the dairy farmers, the beef farmers, and so on, this is just really what we needed. Probably could have come a few months earlier, but it's lovely.
What are you growing here?
We've got 400 acres of vines, and mainly Chardonnay, Verdelho and Semillon, and we've also got a small selection of reds.
Why Two Rivers?
We chose the name Two Rivers because of the significance of the Hunter and the Goulburn River to the Upper Hunter. Our vineyard's situated on the banks of the Hunter River. The Goulburn River meets the Hunter just south of our vineyard, and recognising the importance of those two rivers to our region.
Does the river mean anything to you at a personal level?
Oh, look, absolutely. We just think we're the luckiest people in the world to be living where we are. Our property was originally called Riverview, and we use the river all the time, both professionally in the vineyard and with promotions and so on. But for our family here, to be living here right on the Hunter River, it's just a wonderful place to be.
Your dog's just about to go back into the river.
She's never out of it, even on the frostiest of mornings. Typical Labrador, straight into the water.